right now we are going to discuss about Docker. So if you are new to for today's session, if you don't understand, don't worry. We have nearly completed nearly 7 to 8 classes on Docker. If you are newly joined, just observe how I am teaching. Right, for like whatever you do practice. So everything you are going to do in AWS cloud. So try to create an account in AWS cloud. Okay, why we are using AWS cloud? Let me explain. Like if you go back 20 years back, so when I was uh, when I was in childhood, I used to purchase a cycle for rent. I used to play for 1 hour. Then after I used to return it to the person who is the owner of that cycle. Because I don't want cycle 24 by 7. I just want every weekend, every Sunday, 1 hour. Because I am not capable to invest to purchase a cycle. Because we are poor at that time. So in the same way, companies also they are not ready to purchase. Right now at present, if you see, I am running my laptop, but in reality, application will run on thousands, hundreds of laptops. If company go and purchase for hundreds and thousands of laptop, if application they will launch the application. If the user don't use that application, whatever they have purchased, everything will be wasted. So companies like AWS, nothing but Amazon, Azure, nothing but Microsoft, Google, they have came that already we have created the total infrastructure. Okay, we have already a huge lot of setup. So don't try to purchase any resources from the market. Try to create an account in our website where virtually we will provide a servers. You can directly create any server and you can directly click on it, click on connect and just copy and log in into that server. Do whatever you want. For that we are going to charge minimal amount. So like this you can purchase any server. Like if you say whenever I execute, I am logging into the Ubuntu machine. Nothing but it's type of one operating system. Like Windows, Ubuntu is also one type of operating system. But in Linux we will work using terminal. Whatever you do, you will work with CLI. So like this you can purchase. Hourly there will be bills will be there. Not more than 2 rupees. So you need to use, you need to practice, then you can delete that server. But if you purchase, it will, you need to invest in lakhs of rupees. But here, for only 1 hour, you are just investing very little amount. So that's the reason many companies are shifting to the clouds. So why I just created one server, okay? Then after I've installed Docker in it. So now let me check Docker was installed or not. If it is first session for you, just ignore. When you join, you will understand. So if you see on the day 0 we have discussed about software development lifecycle. Then after we have discussed about CI/CD pipeline. On day 1 we have discussed about the generations of running application on the server. You can run the application on the physical server, which we can purchase from market, and which is VMware, nothing but virtual box. And now companies are shifting to containerization. And for application running, you will be having two types of approach. One is monolithic application and one is microservices. So that part we have discussed on the day 1. Then after we have discussed what is Docker, then I have shown you how to install Docker. Then we have compared the what difference between virtual machine and Docker container. Then I've discussed about Docker image. On the day 4 we have discussed what is this container, how this container was born, and we have discussed about how to create an image using Docker file. Then on the day 5 we have deployed the Java application. On the day 6 we have deployed one more Java application, and we have discussed about what is this image layers, how images were stored. And then on the day 7 we have discussed about multi-stage Docker build. What is this multi-stage Docker build? On the day 8 we have discussed about argument and environmental variable. What is the use of argument, environmental variable, and work directory. and we have discussed about what is the difference between add and copy. So on the day 9 we have discussed about the health check, user and expose, that is yesterday. So today we are going to discuss about real-time application deployment in companies, right? How you can able to deploy the application. So for that, what you need to do, we need to take a code from developer, right? After taking the code, as a DevOps engineer, you need to convert that code into a Docker image. So after converting the Docker image, you need to create a container, but in reality this container will run on the Kubernetes cluster. But right now we are learning Docker, let us focus in the Docker. In Kubernetes part I will show how this container will going to work under Kubernetes, but right now we need to take the code, we need to write a Docker file out of it, and we need to create a Docker image. Docker file is nothing but a simple text file, and using Docker file we will create a Docker image, and after creating the image we will create a container. If you don't know what is this Docker image and what is Docker container, just treat this image CD. If you go back to 20 years back, we will be having CDs, right? In that CD we will watch our favorite movies. So treat this Docker image as a CD and container as a DVD player. So in this CD you will be having movies, your favorite movies. In the software world, they will have their application, copy of their application, that's it. And using this CD we will watch movie by inserting it to the DVD player. In the same way, using this image we are creating a container, that's it. Now let me come back. So whatever I speak, right, I will provide the classroom notes as well. So if you go to Docker, so if you see day 1, now we are under day 9. Not day 9, day 10, right? Yes, we are under day 10. Day 9 notes were already updated. So I said, right, application deployment. So we are going to deploy Java, .NET, Python, React.js. So nothing but 4 popular applications, nothing but 4 projects. Which different languages: Java, .NET, Python, React.js, right? One more is Node.js. So you can skip .NET. I'm just showing for the example purpose, but majority of the market covered by Java, Python, and React.js. So in the interview, you can tell I worked on. You can choose anything, any language you want. No one will ask why you are using that specific language. It depends upon the company. But I will show all. In the interview, you can teach what you are comfortable. Or let me open the Visual Studio Code. If you don't have a Visual Studio Code, try to download. It will help us to write the Docker file easily. So what is this Docker file? In Linux, in Windows, we will call it as text file, right? Same, simple text file. Inside this text file, you will give the instructions. So let it open. So if you are new to this, don't confuse. If it is a first class to you, anyway it will be difficult for you. So yeah, I too from electrical background, I too don't know anything at the during the beginning. But you just need an dedication, you need to learn and you need to practice more than a normal person. So if you see, I have taken a image called as Java image. Using add instruction, what I am doing, from S3 bucket, I am downloading the jar file. So which is a Java based. So this jar file help us to run the Java application. So already we have discussed this on previous sessions, if you remember. And I've used expose because my application run on 8080 port. So in order to start my application, what is the command? For Java application, if you want to start, a command will be java-jar springpetunic.jar. So in the same way, if you see, I have taken one more Java application which is game of life. So I have taken Tomcat image, which is a war file. I have deployed into the web apps folder, copied into the web apps folder. Then this is the command to run Tomcat. So you can, if you don't give the CMD, I said right, by default there is already CMD was present in the Tomcat. It will take that as a CMD. So now let me try to run this Java application and I will show you. So this is a simple Docker file, okay? So let me go inside this server, Ubuntu server, okay? What I will do, I will create one folder. In Linux it is called as a directory. What is a command? So I said right, everything you will use command line, but here in Linux you can directly simply right click new folder, but in Linux it will not work like this. You need to do everything, you need to do a command. ls is a command to list of files in your current directory. So there is nothing in my right. Let me try to create a new folder. Mkdir is a command to create a folder. Let me create Java folder, ls. So if you see, Java folder was created. If you go inside this Java folder, cd Java. So inside this Java folder, nothing is present. Just vi docker file is nothing but it will create a new docker file and it will go inside the docker file. Vi is nothing but editor. How we have notepad for Windows, like this in Linux we have vi. Just insert, if you enter insert, paste. So I have taken an image called as, so for every docker file it will start with from. This is permanent. Without this you cannot able to create an image. So this is the permanent. Then after what I did, I have downloaded the jar file. Why I have downloaded? Because I want to run this application, and this application is run on 8080 port. That's the reason I have given expose 8080. So I said that container is an isolated area. So inside the container it will run. If you want to expose the application, you need to do the port forwarding. So first let me create a Docker image build -t. -t is nothing but tag, nothing but name of your Docker image. Now I will show you Docker image ls. There is no images present. I will create image now. Docker image build -t spc. You can give anything. One nothing but colon one nothing but version of that image. Dot nothing but in my current directory there is a Docker file. So using this Docker file, it will create a Docker image. So if it is a first class, you just observe, you will not understand, but we have done this in the, if you join from first day one, we have done this manually. I have explained everything. My Docker image was created, Docker image ls, right? If you see, my SPC1 image was created 7 seconds ago, size 499 MB. So Docker, now using this image we are going to create container, right? My CD was ready, I want to watch that movie. So Docker container run -d, nothing but background -p 8080:8080 and the image name SPC1. So Docker container, if you want to see the list of containers, ls. So my container was running. So if I said, right, if you don't give a name to the container, it will get a, by default a name will be automatically allocated. So on which port it is running? 8080 port. So you need to go and check whether your application is running or not. How you will check? Go to your server, click on the server, copy the public IP address, paste, and I've given the port number, right, 8080. Enter. So if you see, it's a cat based website, Spring Pet Clinic. At least you can see some home page, something you can able to see. So that's it. As a DevOps engineer, what your job? You need to take the code, you need to deploy. That's it. Your job was done. So now what I will do, I will deploy one more Java application. mkdir Java 2. Let me go inside this Java 2 folder. Sorry, come back. Right. So whenever you create any Docker file, try to create on empty directory. So vi Docker file. So why you need to do in the empty directory? Now I will explain. First I will go and copy this. So now I am just doing copy paste, but in the beginning I have explained everything. What is the use of instructions? Docker image build is a command to create a image. Okay, -t gof1. You can give any name. Dot, in my current directory there is a Docker file. So if you see, sending build context to Docker daemon 2 KB. So why I am telling you to create on empty directory? Because whenever you create a image, whatever files present in your directory, if I enter ls, I have only one Docker file. If you write Docker file wherever you want, whatever files located in that particular location, all files will be copied into the Docker image. If all files copied into the Docker image, the size of Docker image will be increased. So that's the reason I'm telling you to create on a empty directory, and you need to put the files which is necessary for your application. That's it. So that's the reason I'm telling you to create a separate folder. Inside that folder, try to create a Docker file. Now you got my point, right? So if you see, sending build context to Docker daemon 2 KB. So whatever if you add something text files, it will be added into your Docker image. So you should not do that. If it is related to application, no problem, you can add. If it is not related to application, you should not send unnecessary files. Docker image ls. My image was created GOF1. So inside this GOF, my application, my game of life application related information is present. So how in CD, how we have our favorite movies, in the same way in GOF, that image, for every image you will get an ID. Okay, this part we have already discussed. So using this image, in order to create a container, the command will be docker container run -d, nothing but run this container in the background. -p, let me give 80. You cannot use same port. Okay, if the already port was running with some other application, you cannot use the same port. This is the host port and this is the container port. So which port I have given here? I have given expose 8080 because my application is run on 8080 port. So this is the container port. We are mapping my host port, nothing but wherever Ubuntu, wherever you are running the command, that is a host. So this one we have already discussed. If it is new for you, just ignore. GOF1, enter. So docker container ls. So 8090, I will check 8080, right? I will take, I will get on error of home page because Tomcat homepage was disabled by official Tomcat. So just you need to slash your application name, you need to give game of life, right? Your application is running, it's nothing but it's a simple gaming application. So like this you can play. So now we have deployed two websites, one which is Java, nothing but two projects. But you may have a doubt, okay, in real time how it will be. Now let me cat this Docker file. In real time you are going to use Docker file, right? But you will not use the war file. The steps will be same, but only the war file will be changed, that's it. Open. So here I am using Spring Pit Clinic. You will be having different jar file, but steps will be same. Whatever I am using instructions, everything will be remain constant. Only some part will be changed, that's it. So this is the Java. Now let me come back to our nodes. This is the .NET application deployment. So just ignore, this is not that much important, but I have just included. So if you see what I did, I have taken a Ubuntu image and I have created one mop folder using run instruction. So run is a command. So if you see, execute any commands on top of current image as a new layer. So run instruction will help us to execute a commands. So that's the reason I have given run, I have taken the instruction of run. So Docker file is a simple text file. So inside the text file you will use instructions. So depending upon the requirement you need to use that specific instruction. So here what I have used run instruction to create a folder. I have used run instruction to install unzip. Then after what I did, I downloaded the zip file. I have used here multi-stage build. Yesterday or day before yesterday we have discussed. Then after I have taken ASP.NET image. I have copied the zip file. Right? If you observe Java, I have taken var or jar file. For Linux, it's a zip file. So not for .NET, it's a zip file. So what I did, I copied the zip file into the slash nop location. So in order to run this application, command is .NET file name, .NET file name. For Java, Java-jar file name. For .NET file name. So everything will be remain same. You need to know how to use the instructions, how to execute the commands. Now you can ask how I will know. I need to update, I need to install, I need to do this, I need to do this. Developer will tell you. Developer will show how he is doing manually. You will take that commands. You will convert that into a Docker file. So very easy. So now let me come back. I will come back. So we have already discussed this in previous sessions. That's the reason I'm just copy pasting. ls mkdir. Let me create net folder. Go inside this net folder. So why we are creating a Docker file on empty directory? Because whatever the content is present in your directory, everything will be copied inside the Docker image. That's the reason we are creating under empty folder. Just give me a moment. I will attach my dot. Yeah. Okay. VA Docker file. I copied the content. Now I will create a image. Docker image. Build -t. So in order to create the image, command will be same. Docker image build -t image name. I will give net1 dot nothing but in my current directory there is a Docker file. But if you go 10 years back, they used to do these things manually. So what are the commands I'm doing using Docker file, right? They used to execute step by step, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So everything they used to do manually, logging into the server, and they used to copy, they used to unzip, they used to duplicate one by one, step by step. They used to copy and paste. But by using Docker file, if you will write a Docker file and you will just execute in the background, it will do for you. So this is called as automation. As a DevOps engineer, you need to save the company time. So that's the reason you will getting an huge packages, because time is money, not only for companies, for as a human being, for us as well. Docker image ls. My image net one was there, right? And if you see my application, .NET application is run on 8080 port. So Docker container run -d. I will give capital P. Capital P. What is the difference between small p and capital P? Capital P will allocate the port which is available in your Ubuntu server. So it will automatically allocate some port. Net 1. So Docker container ls. So if you see, I said to you, right, 32768. I will check. I will copy the public IP address 32768. right? This is the simple website to register. This is the .NET. In the .NET they have designed this website. So we are not going to write the code. After getting the code, our job will start. Code will be written by Java developer or .NET developer or a Python developer. They will write the code and they will give it to us. What we need to do? We need to take the code, we need to deploy that code on some server. So just a moment, I'm getting a call. I will be back in. So in the same way, you can do for Python, Node.js and React.js. So I will explain what is this, how I have written. If you do practice 24/7 continuously, then it will be like cakewalk for you. So I take what I did from common for everything. I've taken Python file image. So I said, right, in CD we will be having movies for my favorite movie which I want to watch. In the same way, for Python you need to take Python image. For .NET you need to take .NET image. For Java you need to take Java image. Okay. So what I've taken from Python, I've taken the Python because my application is Python. My Python application runs on expose 8 Python port. So this is common. Now you understand why we are using expose and from. So from is common. We will take the image related to that application. Expose on which port that application is running. Same from expose. Every Docker file from expose common. What is CMD? What is CMD? Command to run the application. Simple. Here you are learn 3. You know about from, you know about expose, you know about CMD. So work did nothing but if you want to give any, like whenever you log in inside the container, we have already discussed, default working directory is the root directory. If you want to change that working directory, you can use workd instruction. So run is run. What is run? You can execute any command. If you want to install anything, if you want to create any folders, you can use run instruction. I will copy. I will go, come back, mkdir Python. Go inside this Python folder. In the interview, they will ask, okay, what you have done. So in the Docker, they will tell, you know how to write a Docker file. Yes, you said, yeah, I will know. You can you able to write simple Docker file? They will ask. Then at that time, what you need to do? Whatever Docker file you want, you can do. You can use. If you want to use Python, just try to by heart the steps. Try to write Python. No, I want simple. Try to use Java. Then they will ask you, okay, what is the use of copy? What is the use of run? What is the use of expose? Why we are using this expose instruction? Why we are using this workd instruction? They will simply ask silly questions. You need to explain. Workd instruction is used to change the directory. Expose is used to on which application port is running application. So like that you need to explain. So interview will be very easy if you know learn perfectly. So I will be there, right? I will guide you. Docker image build -t, right? Same command. If you do practice a lot, you will not forget. You just need to continuously practice. Let me give pyth py. Let me give py1 dot nothing but in my current directory there is a Docker file. So Python application is run on Python port, right? So Java application runs on 80 port. 80 port. So it depends. You can change the port number as well. But how will do that? Developer, if they want to change the port number, developer will write the code in such a way. So my image was created. I will clear the screen. Docker image ls. So py with tag 1 created. So Docker container run -d hyphen, let me give, I will give hyphen capital P py1. So you can give the name as well for your container, hyphen name Python. If you don't give the name, I said that automatically a new name will be allocated. Docker container ls. So we have given a name called as Python. That's the reason we got a Python as a name. If you don't give the name, if you see Nifty, Great Gates, Friendly, Docker will allocate any name. If you give the name, well and good. If the name was not given, Docker will automatically some by dummy name he will allocate to the container. Okay, my application is run on 32769. I will copy 32769. So if you say hello world, at least you can see in something text hello world. Right now, if you see, we have deployed 1, 2, 3, 4 projects. But if you see in the institutes, they will just tell you how to write this Docker file, how to run the image, how to create a container. That's it. They will not explain about projects and all. So after completing the Docker, there is a project, and I will show you end-to-end project related to Docker. Once this Docker is completed, we can plan for that project. Okay, then I will come back to my notes. So this is for Node.js. I will do for React.js. This is a task for you. Try to do for Node.js. So if you see here, we have used Node. Node is a package manager. If you don't know, just ignore. For Java, you will be having Maven to create a package. For Node.js, for React.js, or Node.js as a like used as a package manager. Cd dot mkdir React.js cd React.js vi. What is the use of this React.js? React.js, using React.js you can create websites. That's it. It might be Amazon website, it may be Flipkart. So if you see, I have used, so React front end, Node.js is back end. Node.js will be used as a back end, and React is a front end. Using React, you will create the front end part. So from Node, I have used label. Label is nothing but a simple tag for your image. This application runs on expose 3000 port. Then after what I did, using run, I have downloaded the code. I have executed npm run, and I have executed npm run build. And workday, if you want to change the default working directory, you can use the workday. And npm start is a command to start the application. I will copy again. Docker image build -t react 1 dot. Then if I want to create a container using a image, what is the command? Docker container run. To create a image, Docker image build. To create a container, Docker container run. To see the list of images, Docker image ls. To see the list of containers, Docker container ls. To remove the image, Docker RMI image name. To remove the container, Docker RM container name. So Docker image ls. You can see the list of images. Docker container ls. You can see the list of containers. I will run Docker container run -d -P react 1 enter. If I don't give the container name, it will allocate a some name, dummy name. So Docker container. So I said right, a dummy name will be automatically allocated, and it is running on 32770. We are directly creating a container, but in real life this will be run in the Kubernetes cluster. So if you see, welcome to my project. Okay, why I need to ignore this, let me run this one as well. Okay, here we are using Angular, mkdir Angular 3D. Angular is a tool. Okay, node React is a tool to create a websites. Angular is also one type of tool. va docker file. So what I did, I have taken node image. You can give any label, is a simple tag. I clone the AngularJS, right, using I said right, using npm you can able to run the application. Docker image build -t angular 1 dot. So in the interview they will ask, okay, in my current system, in my current server, I have nearly 100 images. I want to delete all the images at a time. Do you know how to delete all the images at a time? So they will definitely going to ask this question. So you need to know the command how to delete all the images at a time. So after completing this, I will show you. So if you do it manually, it will take hell lot of time. But if you write a simple Docker file, you can imagine Docker file is a simple script. So it's using that script, you can add it into a file, and you just need to execute. In the background, Docker will do. So if you see, we have added step 8. 8 steps we have added. We are just simply sitting and watching. In the background, Docker is doing for us. So that is type of automation. right? Error processing tar file, no space left on device. I said right, no space left on device. I have already provided you the, as a DevOps engineer, how you will get an error. They will ask in the interview, what are the challenges you have faced in the Docker? So I have already given you the notes. While creating the Docker image, what is the errors you are going to get? So I said right, disk space. Lack of disk space can create Docker from storing images. So check your disk space, df-h. I will execute df-h to check my disk space, because it is showing no space left on device. Is it correct or not? So if you see, my size was 7.6 GB. How much I have used? 7.2 GB I have used. So that's the reason it is throwing an error. What I will do now? Docker. I have run so many things. Docker container ls. Okay, I have many containers running. Due to that, my server got huge load. So I don't want to run this container. I want to delete all the containers at a time. In the interview, they will ask, what is the command? The command will be docker container. If you see, if I enter docker container ls, if I give -a, I will get all the containers. Okay, if I give simple -q, I will get only image IDs. So in Linux, there is a wonderful command. You can call this image IDs as a command. What I will do, I will execute docker container ls, sorry, docker container rm is a command to remove the container. What I will do, I will add dollar inside this bracket. I will execute that command, docker container ls -a-q, nothing but try to remove the container, all these image IDs. So this ID will be replaced automatically. You no need to do. You just execute this command. All IDs will be executed here and all containers will be deleted. So just observe. You cannot remove a running container. Stop the container before attempting removal or force remove. So in the interview they will ask, can I remove the container? You need to tell, you cannot remove the container. You cannot remove a running container. First you need to stop the container, then after you can remove the container. But if you want to delete the container, yeah, there is an option to forcefully delete it. Just you need to execute one more thing, -f, that's it. Right, -f, enter. Now your container will be deleted. Docker container ls, my all containers was deleted. Now docker image ls, I want to delete all the images. What is the command? Docker image rm -f, you need to give -f, dollar docker image ls -q. So all images will be deleted. So now ls, sorry, not ls, docker image ls. I hope I got some space. Now I will build the image. -t angular 1 dot. Now it should not throw an error. So whenever you get an error, feel happy because you are going to learn something. So it will take some time. I will come back to this. So these are the errors. common errors. I have collected some common errors where you will face. So now I have shown you the real-time error. Due to some disk space, you cannot able to create the image. So while running the container also, you will get some errors. So insufficient disk space. So for container also, you will get an error sometimes, disk space error. So these are the errors you will get. So these things will be discussed. Okay, not now. After completing, there is a Docker mock interview session. So there I will ask you some questions. You need to answer. So at that time, we will discuss about this. Now it will take some time. It should not fail. Right? Now my image was successfully created. At that time it was failed because now I will execute df-h. df-h is to see the disk free. Now if you see, my half of the image storage was available. So this is the drives. How you will be having C drive, D drive, E drive. In the same way, Linux you will be having like this. This is one type of drives. I will create a container. Docker container run -d -P image name Angular 1. So did I done any mistake? Yes, I have given a wrong Docker container ls. So again I have done a mistake. Container T. So 32771. So 32771. I will close this. So if you see Angular, you can see some websites, you can find some articles, right? Here also you can see this is the articles. Feeds. There will be some application, there you will get some latest news, there is some tabs. How this was, who is creating? It is creating by software engineers, nothing but developers. Who is deploying that applications? DevOps engineer will deploy that application. So that's it for today. After completing, just exit. You will come out of your server. Then after you can close. This is the terminal you can download from internet. Just search git download and install that. So after practicing, select that. So I have taken T2 medium. I will show how much it will charge for me. From past 1 hour I think I am using this. T2 medium. T2 medium price. How much? This much of dollars. Let me Google. I will Google this. So 3.86 Indian rupees. Nothing but if you use server for 1 hour, it will charge you nearly 4 rupees. You need to sacrifice at least one biryani. Monthly, if you sacrifice one biryani, then you can practice. So if you practice, you are going to earn in lakhs once you get a job. So you need to be careful. Try to create a server, then after terminate that. Don't forget. If you forget, it will charge. I will stop the recording.